So we're moving to the next KPI. That's design and aesthetics. One of my favorites, really. So, you know, you don't want to look stupid, right? Even if a shoe has the best performance, it fits you the best, right? You don't want to look stupid stepping on the court or going out and you're like, what are those, right? You still need to be, dripped out when you step on the court or otherwise. So under design and aesthetics, we have 4 factors, right? So first is visual appeal. How do they look, right? And then second is style versatility. Like, can you rock them on and off the court? And then, we're giving marks for innovation, right? We don't just want you to copy and paste someone else's design because, that's just lazy and that's no added value for the consumer. So that's also a factor under design and aesthetics. And then finally, the material, so the quality of the material, right? And then we're going to look at that. Not as it pertains to performance, but just the quality, how it is, right? We're going to check that out. So first we have the Harden Volume 7s, right? So we're going to talk about visual appeal. To be honest, right, this shoe has been an acquired taste, right? I feel like Adidas has done a very good job with their marketing and promotion to the point where, everyone has started to like these shoes. Myself sort of included, to be honest. But my first take on the shoes when I first saw them was like, oh man, these are a bit hideous, right? To be honest. But having them in hand, and I feel like I got one of the worst colorways because I started to get them when, they were like going out of stock. So I got this like lime, puke sort of green, which, even at that, I feel like it started to grow on me a little bit. But to be honest, right, I still don't think it's the most beautiful shoe. That's just it. I feel like I can wear it now on the basketball court and, because I'm going to wear other things and just accessorize, it still comes out looking pretty good. But overall, I would give it a 2, just because I like it, but I just feel like, I could like it better. So for visual appeal, I give this guy a 2. And then for the AC12s, man, these shoes, for me, like personally, these shoes are beautiful, right? I really like the colorway, number 1, but they just have a great silhouette. I like the way they look on the court, right? It spins heads. People ask you what are those, right? The little details in them. For the Harden, I do like the puffer jacket thing. I do like, the quilted look. It feels like what we would wear over here in Canada. But these guys are pretty, right? You have on the tongue, you have the, City of Angels. I gotta get you to see that. I hope. City of Angels, right? You got the logo here. You have the Way of Wade logo right here. And the shoes they're just overall sick, right? There's so many other colorways, but I like these. Visual appeal, I give these 2.5, right? They're another thing, right? The fact that, a shoe is narrow, that also makes me like it a lot in terms of being aesthetically pleasing, not necessarily for performance reasons. So I give these guys a 2.5 max score. And then the AE1s, I sort of feel the same way about the AE1s like I do about the Hardens. I feel like Adidas has a mold, right? I feel like there's a mold and they just make slight variations and just churn out the same, not the same, but different type of shoes that look sort of like the same, right? The Yeezy sort of look alike. And then, also when I ordered these, right, just to review them, I didn't really like them, especially the colorway, but on hand, playing in them, marketing has influenced me as well, so I'm starting to warm up to them and, like them a little bit more. But again, I wouldn't give it top marks because, my first inclination, my first feeling when I saw them was like maybe not, man. I don't know how I feel about wearing this, on a good day. So yeah, these guys I would say 2, similar to the Hardens. I would give them the same score in terms of visual appeal, just how I think, I wouldn't see this on the court and go, whoa, those are fresh, right? I might see these, right, if I hadn't seen them before, like, oh, those look different, right? But I wouldn't go there and say, yo, I need those, right? I wouldn't do that, right? So I would say 2 points out of 2.5 for the AE1s under visual appeal. Okay, now next thing is style versatility, which is, can you wear this on the court and off the court, right? So starting with the Harden Volume 7, I really wouldn't wear this off the court for me, right? I feel like the silhouette is a bit wide, right? That's not something, you know, I'm more like, I like more streamlined silhouettes. I wouldn't really wear this myself. I mean, I could, right? Maybe if someone pointed a gun to my head, maybe. But otherwise, maybe not, right? So I would say, and all this is just my personal preference, really, man. Everyone has different style, but you know, since it's my video, I just gotta, you know, tell the truth. So style versatility for this, I would say I would give this a 1.5, just because, you know, I would pick the places I would rock these two, right? You know, and then the AC12s, I feel like I could rock these with jeans, right? And just like it'll go effortlessly, right? See this slim silhouette, right? There's like the other you know, sort of like cream colorway. I gotta put a photo of that one out, but the shoes are just, I just like them, right? I can wear this on the court, off the court, although I hardly wear my hoop shoes off the court. But if I did, or if you did as a buyer, I think these would go with, you know, just about everything you would typically wear in terms of sneakers. So these guys, 2.5 for style versatility, because I would wear them on the court and off the court. And then the AE1s, I would give these similar to the Hardens, right? It still has a very wide like silhouette. I don't know, man. You know, it's not my personal style to wear these out, but you know, I would give them, in short, I would give the AE1s 1.5 for style versatility, right? Out of a possible 2.5. Okay. Then innovation, right? I think innovation is critical, because you don't want to just wear the same thing. Sometimes I look at what my shoe collection has become, and a pattern starts to emerge where I'm wearing the same sort of shoes, right? Just because that's my personal style. So, and also just because the companies have gotten a bit lazier over time, and they just churn out, maybe for the first for 3 years in a row, they use the same sort of you know, mold, and the shoes start to look the same. So I think it's worth giving points for innovation and recognizing when shoes are trying to be different, and changing like the status quo. And then, you know, to that point, right, looking at the Adidas Harden Volume 7s, for innovation, I give it a 2.5 max, right? I have never seen a shoe with the puffer jacket, you know, style, you know, and they made it work with the knit, you know, very cozy shoe, you know, might wear it in a cold winter day, you know, without the snow in Canada, right? So this looks pretty good, you know, very snuggy looking, you know, also nice touch with the suede over here. So overall, I would say innovation 2.5. Max marks for Harden Volume 7. And then for the AC12s innovation, I would just give it, to be honest, like it's different from the other All Cities, right? It has a new silhouette, all that, but they're all materials I've seen before. So nothing net new in terms of, you know, the design, you know, just a change in configuration, I would say. Yeah, they tried to make some graffiti tags at the bottom. That was a nice touch. You know, but overall, I would just say probably a 2 over a possible 2.5 in terms of design, in terms of innovation, I would say. So that's my view on the AC12s. And then for the Anthony Edwards ones, I would say 2.5 for innovation, right? So this definitely, I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I've never seen a shoe that looks just quite like this, right? They were very bold with this, with the honeycomb design, and you know, just give it 2-3 years when they're like 3-4 AE signature shoes, man, this might be the norm for Adidas, right? So I like the way that they took it to another direction, different from the Harden line, different from the Son of Shy line, different from the Dawn issues, different from Trae Young's. These look different overall, right? So definitely big kudos to Adidas basketball, and definitely a 2.5 on a scale of 2.5 for innovation on the AE1s. And then finally, under design and aesthetics, right? The final factor is the materials, right? So which of these shoes have the best materials, right? Starting with the Volume 7s, right? These guys, the materials are premium on these, right? It has a touch of suede. It has this cloth. It has, you know, the cloth is actually knit to look like a puffer jacket. And then it has the actual, you know, knit that's springy. It looks like, you know, grandmama knitted this. And then it has different sorts of plastic, right? The plastic at the rear is different, right? It's softer, so you can let the boost really bounce. And then in the forefoot, it's a bit sturdier, right? So even just mixing and matching those, overall, I think, the materials in the shoe itself really have a nice premium touch to it overall. They feel premium on foot and even on hand, right? So I would say materials, definitely a 2.5 max for the volume 7s. For the AC12s, materials are premium. You have boom, you have this feels like nubuck, right? It feels like sanded down leather almost, right? I can't really place it. It definitely is synthetic, but it doesn't feel cheap at all. I like the mesh. I think mesh can be a premium touch if it's done properly, and here the mesh actually feels really good. And then, I'm not really a fan of this, the cloth right here in the toe box, but it is implemented pretty well, and I find that it doesn't fray all too much. I mean, it doesn't fray at all when I play. Also, there's no fuse, just here a little bit on this lateral side. So I like the way they minimize the use of fuse there. This is a nice touch, this plastic sort of like cage just to keep your foot in here. Definitely they typically use carbon fiber, but I can't really tell what this is. So that's also another premium touch. The cage is plastic, but it's plastic that's a little bit on the softer side as well. So that's pretty good. So overall, right, and also look at the tongue, right? The detail in the tongue, also the bottom part of the tongue is a different color, right? So this also a mesh, also like a screen mesh, a little bit on top of this leather-like material, this synthetic leather material. So I think overall, not as premium as the Harden Volume 7s, but definitely not a slouch either, right? So I would say these shoes are probably a 2 on a scale of 2.5 for materials, AC12s. And then finally, we have the AE1s for materials, right? So I personally think that the AE1s, I would give them a 1.5 for materials, and for a couple of reasons, right? So even first off, this cloth material, I understand it's supposed to be supportive, right? But since you have the cage being supportive, I would think this would be more stretchy and a little bit more premium. This looks like, I could just pull out a random cloth from my drawer and it would be the same thing. Like it's really basic. It is a budget shoe, but we're talking about materials first. We're gonna talk about price later on. So it's not the best. Then this is plastic, right? This is there's no way around that. That is plastic. I also see that. I don't know if you can see this, right? Like it's scathed, right? Every time I play with the shoes, I always come back with a new nick, right? There's always something off with the plastic right here. You can see literally, that's not a good look because I play pretty, like I run a lot, I cut a lot, and I'm gonna have a lot of, collisions, right? With the shoe. So it just feels like this material, it is good for support, but after playing in these for like a year, then it's gonna start looking, I might have to get it repainted or something, right? So for that reason, also like there's this felt material in the toe box. I'm not a huge fan of that either, right here. That's one of the things I didn't really like about the shoes when I bought them in the first place, but still okay. But overall, it still has pretty good material, especially the cushion with boost and light strike. This is plastic, right? But it still looks a bit like semi-premium, so I'm not really mad about that. But overall, I would just say for those reasons, especially because I have this scuffing, right? That's not a good look. I would give the materials for AE1 a 1.5, right? So tallying, design and aesthetics for all the shoes, what is their composite score over 10 for design and aesthetics? For the Harden Volume 7s, I would say I would give these an 8.5 overall. That's a pretty good score. I do like a lot about the design and the way the shoe was implemented aesthetics wise. For the AC12, I will give these a 9. Right, I do think it has a lot of things going its way in terms of versatility and visual appeal. And then the AE1s, I would give these a 7.5. Just my candid opinion on these shoes, which are like raving right now. Next, we're going to take a look at what these shoes cost and which one of them is the cheapest. Let's take a look.